Miami or a heat wave. Bounce back when they tell you no. Debate your greatness and flair and let them enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Flair Debate Show. I'm here with the team who are going to be debating for does religion do more harm than good in today's society. I'm here with David and Shrishti. David, how you doing?
Not too bad, thank you.
Excellent. Shrishti?
I'm fine, thank you.
Perfect. What aspects of the show are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to doing it in a large group of people that haven't been exposed to debating before. So I get to try out what I've tried out before with a group of people who just sit there with notepads and judging strangely and trying it in a different audience.
I'm really looking forward to actually just doing it in a format that I'm not used to. So it's a bit interesting because British Parliamentary, which is the format David and I do, has a very rigid set of rules, and it's nice to do something similar but not quite similar.
Excellent. Yeah, you were at the last show as well, Shrishti, so obviously you got to see some of the aspects of the Flair Debate Show. We understand it is a very unique concept, but also completely alien to a normal way of debating. I understand that you're not here with you haven't got your Flair debater today, and David is going to be doing 2 speeches, or
hopefully someone else can rescue it for me.
Indeed.
And do it for me.
Okay. In terms of your opinions on does religion do more harm than good in society, if you can just give us a brief perspective as to how you're going to deliver your argument on that point.
It's quite an odd debate in terms of looking at it, because you have to come up with an alternative history, one in which religions never existed, and in a limited amount of time. That's quite difficult. But I'm going to try and pick up just some of the things that I think are inherent to religion but don't really exist anywhere else, and just talk about how people have taken advantage of them and used them for their own ends, and how that ends up with things like Westboro Baptist Church, how that ends up with justifications for colonialism, how it ends up with justification of pretty much everything we did in South America.
Okay, and I understand you're summarising. How are you going to put that point across and persuade the audience to believe what you're saying, even though some of them may not believe in your argument?
Both David and I are especially sensitive to the fact that we may be talking about, obviously, an issue that people have a very deep personal investment in, obviously, and we are speaking in a way against religion because we're talking about how it's done more harm than good. I suppose what I'm going to attempt to do is to first try and try and establish the framework that David gives, which is this notion of what would history be if we did not have religion, and what might the good or bad things be if we didn't have religion. Secondly, obviously, I'm also going to try and engage with some of the arguments that we hear from the other side, and sort of essentially just present to the audience a balance of harms. So talk about, to put it in a really basic way, I suppose it is to do with what achieves greater good.
Of course.
So I think at the end of the day, and just as is the case with all debates, because we are only allowed to debate on one side of the motion, so we necessarily sort of just try and highlight the good points of that side of the motion, right? So it is the role of the summary speaker, I think, is also to sort of tell not just the audience, but also sort of for the rest of the debating floor itself, this whole idea of let's engage with some of the issues that have come up on both sides of the house and tell you why, on the balance, we think our side wins.
Brilliant. Excellent, that's well put. My last question, is in terms of the concept, appreciate you guys aren't used to this way of debating. What's your opinion on it?
I'm going to wait until I've actually seen it all the way through to really make an opinion. But I much prefer the freedom that you get in this format. You've got a lot more ability to express yourself, and you're encouraged a lot more, rather than the usual way of debating, which is incredibly rigid in the way it's set out and the way that we're judged. So this will be a nice break
from the norm.
Yeah.
Well, I think that this is a very inclusive form of debating, really, because when I was here sort of at the last debate, I did notice how once the first 2 speeches were over and we got into the flair component, it really got the audience also engaged, and we had substantial audience participation. This is not something that we usually see in a British parliamentary round, for instance, mainly because it's closed off to people who are not participating in the debate itself. So I do really like the notion of being part of a format that gets people who are not directly involved with the debate also involved, because at the end of the day, if we're discussing complex political or social issues, it's not just something that concerns sort of university students who want to talk about it. It definitely concerns sort of you know, yeah, it definitely concerns sort of like a significant majority of people in society, and it's really nice to actually have a format that's sort of midway between let's have an intellectual discussion on the subject, as well as let's just not confine that intellectual discussion to sort of 8 university students. I think that's a really good.
Excellent. Well, thank you. That's well put, guys. David, Shrishti, good luck today. It is a competition at the end of the day, so really hoping you put your best forward. And you know, that was obviously well put. We're looking forward to seeing the debate.
Miami or a heat wave, bounce back when they tell you no.
Welcome back to the Flair Debate Show. I'm Isaac, and I'm here with the opposing team for the topic of does religion do more harm than good. I'm here with Samantha, Ade, and Matthew. How you guys doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Looking forward to it.
Excellent. Matthew?
Positive vibes. Positive vibes.
That's really good. My first question to you guys is, why are you arguing for? Oh, sorry, against. Isn't it against, isn't it?
Yep.
Why are you arguing against?
Well, I believe that religion has caused like benefits in terms of peace. So I don't think that to stigmatize religion and say that it is harmful is to stigmatize the very people that we're trying to protect.
Excellent. And what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm actually an atheist, but even that being said, I have a huge amount of respect for the things that religion does and the thing that religion provides for people. So I'm very, very happy to be on the opposing side for this one.
Excellent. And yourself, Matthew?
I just think that the people are to really be blamed, not religion itself. Like, it's whoever acts on like their interpretation of whatever they're being taught or whatever. That.
Okay. We understand that you know, you guys are not usually used to this type of debating. How are you looking to approach this new concept of debating?
I think this new concept is like it merges talent with an analytical sort of side. So it's like with a traditional debate, it seems like one-sided. So there's not the crowd doesn't participate. But it seems like the way I see it, this new kind of structure is like a 3 dimension. It's almost like a triangle sort of thing. So it's the people who are debating, the crowd, and the judges. So it's mixing both musical talent, etc., and also a traditional way of debating. So that's what I think is the unique selling point of the Flair Debate Show.
Brilliant. He did it even better than I would. That's excellent.
I think this is a much more entertaining and much more fun way of debating. I mean, the debate that I've done at university, it's been about spewing facts onto a table and letting the judge pick up the rest. But with this, I'm looking forward to thinking about the audience more and thinking about actually being engaging in the way that I'm speaking.
Brilliant. And yourself, Matthew?
Like, there's gonna be a lot of interaction and like it's not gonna be boring sort of thing. Like in debates, I find it boring, but now there's a entertainment side of it. So
okay,
looking forward to it.
Heat like Miami or a heat wave, bounce back when they tell you no. Debate your greatness and flair and let them enjoy the show.
I'm always the first to step away when it's on or when it goes down. When it goes down, even though I have it in me.